What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
So here is my board, guys. In the top black box will be the away team, and the bottom box will be the home team. And before we dive into Thursday Night Football here with the Patriots and the Jets, we're 1 day away. I cannot wait for the game. I love when football's here. I'm going to show you my tweet from last week before so you can see my work here on my Stardom System transparency here. It was a rough week at wide receiver, man. Drake London barely even popped at the end to go over projection for him. Malik Neighbors was a smash. Chris Olave was close, but the blowout happened again, and they got game scripted again. Amari Cooper, I don't know what to talk about here, and Terry McLaurin. It's getting scary time for both these guys, man. They have done nothing. For my sits, I had A.J. Brown as my bold prediction for a sit with A.J. Terrell in the Falcons secondary, but obviously he got hurt and didn't play. I had a sit for Nico Collins as well. I thought Jalen Johnson would play him better. He's one of the top corners in the NFL, and he got absolutely dusted. And they moved him around everywhere, and he didn't shadow him all over the place. And Zay Flowers, I'm done putting on my sit, man. This guy saw 10-plus targets. He's becoming a really, really viable fantasy asset, and I missed on that. Christian Kirk, man, he's looking bad, guys. DeAndre Hopkins as well was another sit. It was a 4-for-9 week. Wasn't great. I will be better this week, I promise. Now, heading into the Jets game here. Patriots side, man, this is tough either way you look at it, right? So you got Pop Douglas, who I was super high on for a breakout year. You got Jalen Polk, the rookie, and then KJ Osborne still out there playing. I want to see some Javon Baker at this point, man. But if I had to pick any one of them, like I'm desperation here, it's going to be Jalen Polk. He did get the touchdown last week. He still hasn't anywhere near good target volume for any of these receivers. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is just terrible. Let's just put it that way. But if I had to, like, DFS dart throw a player, I'm in a deep league like 16-man and I'm hurt with injuries, or 12-man and I'm missing, like, say I'm missing Cup, A.J. Brown, a bunch of people, Jalen Polk would be a dart throw shot I would have, but I'm not super excited about starting it. Over to the Jets side, Garrett Wilson. It's time for him to get loose. And you're not going to see Alan Lazard up here. I mean, I know he popped off and he's top 20 wide receiver or whatever from his one blow-up game on a, it was a false start. That was a free play or offsides free play touchdown. I think Malachi Corley is gonna win this job, and once Mike Williams is back out there playing like normal snaps, you will see Malachi Corley be in the 3 spot. But Garrett Wilson this week, man, he's gonna draw a little Chris Gonzalez. So Chris Gonzalez played about 30 snaps on DK Metcalf last week. Actually did very well on DK Metcalf, but he doesn't travel. So Chris Gonzalez isn't a traveling corner. They're gonna move Garrett Wilson all over the formation, and I like Garrett Wilson to have a big night on Thursday Night Football. And Aaron Rodgers loves the bright lights, and I think he's gonna absolutely feed Garrett Wilson this week. Monday Night Football heading down to Buffalo. The Jacksonville Jaguars are in a do-or-die game, 0-2 right here. Need this win against the Bills or it's going to get really, really ugly here. And for me, this is one of those games that's like hard to decide, right? Because I really love BTJ on the season. I'm so high on how good this guy is, and he should have been drafted way higher than he was. But the Bills defense has been lights out versus the pass, guys. This is going to be more of like a James Cook showing here. I think in this game, Josh Allen running a little bit, and you're looking for like a touchdown dependent play here. And man, they stopped Waddle. They stopped Tyreek even when Tua was out there. And week 1, they had a very good showing as well. Again, in the secondary, it shut down everyone. And it's kind of both ways here in this game. So this is one of those games where I'm just like, I don't really like to have a key starter I love in this game. If there's anybody, it's Brian Thomas. But I'm looking at Curtis Samuel. I thought he would have a better connection with Joe Brady from the Panther days. He has not done anything. Keon Coleman put up a goose egg last week, and Khalil Shakir has been the guy. But again, it's not like I don't feel comfortable like starting Shakir, if that makes sense. Like to say it like that, because he doesn't see even enough volume. Like none of these guys, you're kind of playing Russian roulette with each team here, right? So when I'm looking at Khalil Shakir, yeah, he's had an 11-point game and an 8-point game, right? But he also only has 8 targets in 2 games. I mean, Zay Flowers had 12 in 1 game. So, I mean, it's like, and I even put him on the sit-em last week. So, it's like the volume is the scary part here for me with these teams in the passing game. And if I had to pick one to start, like I was saying again, one to start, it's Brian Thomas. I have Christian Kirk as a major sit-em this week also. And Gabe Davis I'd never like starting Gabe Davis. Man, oh man. Tua Tagovailoa is down. And now you're going to see Skylar Thompson in at quarterback here. And this one is tough now because I need to see what happens here in this game first. Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill. If you paid the premium for him in your draft, you're still going to be starting him. You're not happy about it. You're hoping for a miracle here, kind of. The Jalen Waddle side, I'm going to put Jalen Waddle on a sit-em. I'm going to put him that this is going to be an ugly game for Skylar Thompson, and he's probably going to force feed Tyreek out of a panic game that he's going to have. You're at the 12th man. It's going to be rocking in Seattle. They're undefeated. This could get really, really ugly here. And I honestly, I can't put Tyreek Hill on a center, right? Because it's Tyreek Hill. But I honestly don't feel comfortable even starting Tyreek Hill, if I'm going to be honest. This is going to be really, really ugly, or either Skylar Thompson comes out and looks like a god. Heading to the Seattle Seahawks side, nailed last week with DK Metcalf and the Jackson Smith and Jigba breakout game. He absolutely destroyed. The new Ryan Grubb offense for Seattle looks electric. They're just picking up the playbook, and it is going to be nice all season long. And Geno Smith bounced back from his ugly week 1, put in a better performance week 2. They should have K9 back healthy this game too, that's one of the things that scares me here in this game too as well with DK Metcalf and Jay Season is I have him as stardoms, yeah, because I love him, but does Skylar Thompson just flop this game out and Seattle just runs him over and they run it out with Charbonnet and K9, right? So if you don't get a touchdown early, it could be ugly in that aspect as well. But I'm still putting both of them as a start. I'm going to leave Tyreek as a start, and Jalen Waddle is on my sit. The Raiders get the team that they want to play every single week, that every NFL team wants to play, and the Carolina Panthers are coming to Vegas. And this game is going to be a little different, and this is just my inside breakdown on it, right? So they bench Bryce Young. You could have seen that after game 1 that it was time to bench Bryce Young. He doesn't know how to read the defense. He's too young. They threw him out there too early. They should be doing what the Patriots do with Drake May. Let him learn from the pros, sit back, because he just looks like a deer in the headlights. But the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, is here, guys. I am going to put DJ Moore, Thielen, and I want to see more Xavier Legette out there, man. He didn't get enough snaps, so I still have him in yellow. They're not starts for me, right? They're still on the cusp if you have injuries, stuff like that. But the last time Andy Dalton started as a quarterback was week 3 last year when Bryce Young got hurt for a game. Threw for 361 yards and 27 fantasy points. Now you have a better offensive coordinator, more weapons around him. Dave Canales, man, I thought he was going to be the QB whisperer. It's not. I guess Bryce Young's just not that good either way on that one. I might have missed on Dave Canales helping Bryce Young. But this is going to open up the offense. Deontay Johnson just complained about a trade. They're going to force feed him this week. I 100% believe that. And you could see this game where they're playing behind 90% of the time, but now you have a quarterback that knows how to get you the ball and throw it to you. I think these receivers are going to elevate, and I think the Panthers are going to look better. I mean, it's just what I think, what I've seen with Andy Dalton over his career, and I feel like Deontay Johnson's going to be a smash play this week. Heading to the Raiders side, Devontae Adams is just good at football. You never bench this guy, period. I try to tell everyone to draft him higher in the drafts, and here he goes. 26 points against the Ravens, blows them up, gets the win. The Raiders are going to smash in this game. With Jacoby Myers, I like the start as well, especially at flex, but again, it's like I was talking about with the Dolphins game, right? This could also get out of hand. I'm hoping that Andy Dalton can keep it close, but it could just get out of hand and be a Zamir White game here as well. And if you saw Antonio Pierce, talking on Coach Speak Index on Twitter, if you haven't checked them out, you should check them out. Amazing content. He said he's going to force feed Zamir 25 touches this game. So you're going to see the Zamir breakout party here too, but I'm still starting Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. But again, if they don't score early, it could get ugly. The 0-2 Ravens are headed to Jerry's World in the biggest game of the year for both these teams. Because if you're the Cowboys, you go 1-2, and you're the Ravens, you go 0-3. It's going to just stir up trouble. Now, last week, like I said, I showed you at the beginning of the video, I had Zay Flowers on a sit-em. I'm done sitting this guy. He is a volume machine. So Zay Flowers is going to be an automatic start for me from here on out because this guy's got 21 targets in 2 games. Granted, only 1 touchdown, caught it in the end zone on a little slant pass. But, I mean, if you're seeing 11 targets a game, you're out there on the field in all my lineups every single time. Rashad Bateman, having a better year than normal. Still don't feel comfortable starting him. Nelson Aguilar, nothing to talk about there. Big news on the CD front right now. Supposedly, CeeDee Lamb has an injury right now that has everyone panicking. I think he's still going to play. Again, nothing's official. But I have Brandon Cooks and Jalen Tolbert. Man, he looked good. And I can't, firmly say to start Jalen Tolbert off one amazing catch game. You got to see some consistency. But if CeeDee Lamb goes down and say he misses this week, God forbid, prayers up that he is out there playing. But Brandon Cooks and Jalen Tolbert then become interesting because the Cowboys' run game is going to be irrelevant in this game. The Ravens' defense has allowed 99 yards in 2 games, guys. That is 44.5 average rush yards against them per game. This is going to be a full Dak attack through the air. They are not running. Zeke is old. Dowdle, no way. And Dalvin Cook, we haven't seen yet. So this all comes down to the CeeDee Lamb news coming up. But again, this is, a video on Wednesday. So obviously you're starting CeeDee Lamb. But if CeeDee Lamb were to miss, man, Jalen Tolbert and Brandon Cooks are interesting flex plays, great DFS plays, everything. So it all comes out of the news later. But this is how I do it for now. And CeeDee Lamb and Zay Flowers to be my start. The Cincinnati Bengals at 0-2 get their get-right game on Monday Night Football. They get the Commanders coming into town, and my goodness, dude, Terry McLaurin, scary Terry. I'm going to take the ride one more time, and I'm going to say he's startable one more time because the matchup is too good. The Cincinnati defense is terrible, guys. It's supposed to be one of the worst. I did call that they would play up against the Chiefs. They always play better against the Chiefs. The defense showed up a lot more in that game. But look what happened in week 1 versus the Patriots. They had nothing going. So I just, there's something about Joe Burrow and the Bengals when they played the Chiefs. So that's always there. Now, if he saw 8 targets, he didn't see none but 2 or 3 targets week 1. It's time to get this guy involved in the game. It is time to get Terry McLaurin the ball, 10 to 15 targets. I don't want to see Noah Brown or Olamides Zaccheaus get 4 or 5 targets. None of that. Just force feed Terry. Or you could throw it to Zach Ertz. I guess, he throws in 4 to 5 targets a game as well. But Luke McCaffrey wasn't even involved in the game. People were starting to get hyped on him. Jaden Daniels, man, the passing game is just looking sketch, just like Caleb Williams and the Bears. The rookies really be struggling this year, man. On to the Bengals side. I want to scream this one to the rooftop. If Jamar Chase doesn't go for 200 yards and 20 touchdowns in this game, I'm going to lose my mind. This is the get-right game. The Commanders' secondary is the worst. They give up the most points. Their defense is bottom of the barrel. They gave up the most points to wide receivers and quarterbacks last year. This should be a smash 20, 25-point game here for Chase. I don't care if T. Higgins is out there too. I'm starting T. Higgins. And I'm even thinking hey, if I'm in a 16-man deep league, if T. Higgins doesn't play, because we don't know if it's official yet, Jermaine Burton should be a play here. This defense is like your fantasy pot of gold. You start everyone versus the Commanders at all times. If I want to give you an example, I said start Danny Dimes last week, and I would never say start Danny Dimes. But you're playing the Commanders. So you start everyone against them, no matter what. Sunday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs are headed to Hot Atlanta to take on the Dirty Birds. And Rashee Rice, man, this guy is just an absolute monster in fantasy football. And now that Isaiah Pacheco's down, he may finish the season as a top 10 wide receiver. He's wide receiver 9 right now. And his targets are probably just going to go up and up and up. And they're probably going to pass the ball more. And Rashee Rice, man, if you got him, say you drafted earlier or something when he had his, hit and run and the shooting thing came out from college and all that, he's not getting suspended, it looks like. He's going to survive the NFL. The Chiefs have all these little cheat codes, man. And now heading to Xavier Worthy here, guys, why I have him in yellow. If you caught my video last week, I told you this is what's going to happen, and it was on point, on exact 100% point. You're going to see that 20-point week 1. You're going to throw him into your roster week 2, thinking it's an amazing start. And what happens? He's a boom or bust player, man. This guy does not see enough volume for the draft spot. That's why I didn't like him in his draft capital either. So 7 targets in 2 games and 4 touches, right? 4 touches. That's you hoping for a touchdown every time he gets the ball, which is not sustainable in the NFL. So when you're rolling out Xavier Worthy, you got to just take the blows with the hits if you want. It's why I stay away from boomer bust players, why I also avoided Jameson Williams. That one bit me. It looks like hard. But Xavier Worthy's not at that level yet. And he's just a scary start for me every week. I can't put him green or red because it's like a Taysom Hill to me. It's like you're either going to get 20 or you're going to get 2. Hollywood Brown, I should just take him off. He's out for the season, man. Prayers up, shoulder injury. He's done. Falcons side, they got a little rhythm going, right? You saw Kirk Cousins, Monday Night Football against the Eagles, 58-second drive, went all the way down the field, started to find Darnell Mooney over the top, 2 beautiful floating ball. Coming back off the Achilles, I will give him a little break here early in the season, but I expect him to pick it up here, and I expect him to target Drake London more. If you paid second-round draft capital for Drake London right now, you're sitting there wondering what the hell is going on because he only has 10 targets in 2 games. But it is it is looking better because it went from 3 targets to 7 targets. So at least he started to look his way more. He did get the game-winning touchdown. Darnell Mooney, same thing as a Xavier Worthy play here. I mean, he's going to be not a safe start for you if in your fantasy league. If you unless you're buried by injuries, you'd put him out there. Ray McLeod even kind of getting some work. but I'm not starting Ray McLeod either. I'm only starting Drake London and Rashee Rice with confidence in this game. The Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love is practicing today. He is trying to make a miraculous comeback from the injury that we all thought was season ending, and then it said maybe week 5. Looks like this guy is trying to grit it out. He wants his team to win, which is also scary for re-injury risk. But if he is out there, you can bump Jaden Reed back up to a must-start wide receiver. You can put Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs both as possible flex plays. Don't like super starts here for him because Christian Watson will be the one. He'll be the X on the outside, and he's going to draw Snead, man. Snead is lights out. He's done great all season. Locked up DJ Moore, gave Garrett Wilson fits last week as well. And it's just been kind of rough for every wide receiver that goes up against him. Even if you look back like 2023, he's a lockdown corner. Jaden Reed, more of a gadget slot guy they manufacture touches for, and you saw that in week 1 where he was wide receiver 1 on the week. And Jaden Reed, you should have bought low while you could, man. Heading to the Titans side here. Now, this is where I'm going to... Calvin Ridley's my big sit. He's in my tweet of top 5 sits this week. I don't like him versus Jair Alexander. I think this is going to be more of a D-Hop game here. D-Hop is now ramped up according to the updates. He's only played 40% of the snaps and 50% of the snaps. Now they're saying he's going to be back close to 80 to 90, and you'll get your alpha possession wide receiver here. Calvin Ridley's more of a deep ball threat down the field, and that's where Jair thrives, even though the A.J. Brown toasted him. A.J. Brown's just a different beast, and I don't like Tyler Boyd at all to start in this game. The only confident starter I have in this game is Jaden Reed. The Chicago Bears are headed into the Indianapolis Colts, and the breakout game for Caleb Williams is finally here, guys. You want to start everyone against this Colts defense. Let me tell you why here. So let's go back, look at week 1 here, right? Stephon Diggs pops off for 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins still has 20 points. You see Tank Dell in there a little bit. Joe Mixon is the running back 2. They destroy him, right? Then they get week 2 and what you think is a plus matchup against Malik Willis. And no, the script completely flips to a run game. And they run him over 52 attempts for over 200 plus yards. Josh Jacobs went for like 140. So this defense can't stop the run and can't stop the pass. It's probably the best defense you could ever go up against in fantasy football this year right now, or the Commanders, it'd be close. But Keenan Allen didn't practice today. I think he's going to be out there, so I'm putting him in green. Obviously, I don't have the official report yet. We'll know more probably come Thursday or Friday here. DJ Moore should be an absolute smash play in this game as well. And I'm going to put Rome as the non-starter here. I think once Keenan Allen's back, he becomes the less factor here. And I think Keenan and DJ are going to absolutely feast in this game. Over to the Michael Pittman side. This is the last ride here. It's my last ride with Michael Pittman, with Terry McLaurin, and Amari Cooper. These guys got to wake up. These are superstar wide receivers. I expect Anthony Richardson to feed him the ball and actually be accurate with his targets. That is the only thing that is worrying me with Anthony Richardson. His accuracy looks a little off, and that's why Adonai Mitchell is in yellow. So if you're just looking at the stat box, you wouldn't know in the Colts game, right? Adonai Mitchell was overthrown on 2 wide open touchdown passes by Anthony Richardson last week. This man has the number 2 separation rate man-to-man coverage. That means he's the second best wide receiver at getting open on man coverage for 2 weeks. This guy is unguardable. Just need to be accurate, get him the ball. Now, Josh Downs may be back out there. I haven't seen the report yet, anything on it yet. I still wouldn't run him back into a starting lineup off my first game back with Josh Downs. He is the slot guy. He is a target hog as well in there. But I still think this game's going to feed through Michael Pittman. And the starts I like in this game are Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Michael Pittman. The Philadelphia Eagles are headed into the Superdome to face the Saints, and they are going to be without A.J. Brown. Looks like it's going to keep him out a couple weeks here. And my smash start on my tweet of the week is Devontae Smith. This man is going to absolutely feast while he is out. Played 100% of the snaps last game, 17 points, saw 10 targets, so 2 more than even when A.J. was out there. So the volume is becoming more. And in this game, the Saints' run D is good up front, so you're going to see more of the passing game here, I believe, and Jalen Hurts taking off on runs as well. Jahan Dotson, man, I don't know what's happened to this guy. I used to be high on him in Commanders, and he just has been nothing ever since. On the Saints side, the most powerful offense in the NFL, which is crazy to say. No one could have told me that when the season started. And Chris Olave is going to be a start. Rashid Shaheed is absolutely balling, hitting bombs back-to-back game. He is a boomer bust player, but as he's booming back-to-back, you got to ride the wave when you're booming back-to-back. So I'm going to smash him as a start as well here. A.T. Perry, I cannot put in there as a start. I mean, he's definitely a home run hitter as well. Same kind of style here. But I firmly believe that this is going to be a game where the Saints are not blowing them out, right? They had 2 blowout games. So you've had Chris Olave get game scripted. Alvin Kamara even got game scripted, if that's crazy enough to say, with 66 points that he has in fantasy football, number 1 running back. But the Eagles secondary is suspect. They're very young. They're up and coming. Their front 7 is their power, their defense. And I think this is going to be a game where you see points just fly like crazy. And I want every single aspect of this game. And I want Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Devontae Smith as my starts in this game. The 2-0 Chargers are headed into the 2-0 Steelers. Let me know in the comments, guys, if these are contenders or pretender teams. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Now, in this game for the Chargers, the way they run the football and do not make that many pass attempts, and Justin Herbert with the injury at the end of the game, I firmly believe this is going to be a full ground and pound run game here. And Josh Palmer has honestly just fallen out of the rotation. You saw Quentin Johnson have a big game last week. A lot of people blew a lot of crazy fab over a big game on the Carolina Panthers. I think that's kind of crazy, but it was worth, I would say, about 5% for him. But, I mean, if he does become the one, like the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers, it's an absolute steal. And it would finally be what we all were waiting to see on him. Now, George Pickens, for the first time in the season of 2024, is going to get a good matchup. Finally, he's had a nightmare of corners back-to-back in the first 2 games. He got the Atlanta Falcons secondary, which is phenomenal, A.J. Terrell, Bates, and Simmons. Then he gets Denver with Patrick Surtain, probably the second best lockdown corner back-to-back. And he still beat him on about a 42-yard or 44-yard ball that was beautifully thrown by Justin Fields. The flag called it back, and he had another play with the flag called back as well. Could have had a really big day, but in the stat box, it looks bad. And I'm only starting him in this game because it's going to be his first free game. You would look at the points on the season, you'd be like, nah, I don't want to start George Pickens in this game. Dude, he's had brutal matchups, and George Pickens is one of my biggest buy low players you can get right now. The Denver Broncos are headed into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Bucs are going to be an absolute smash play here, 100% over the Broncos. Chris Godwin, I put him at the top because he is now, and my call hit, guys. I said that Chris Godwin's going to have a bigger year than Mike Evans. It's hit so far. It is early in the season, but man, he looks electric. He's the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football, 200 yards on the season. Mike Evans is still going to eat no matter what. Everyone's going to eat against the Denver defense. They're terrible. And this is going to be quick for the Broncos here on their side. This is going to be instant. 1, 2, 3, all red. I don't want to start any Broncos ever for the rest of the season. I've seen enough. I'm done here with the Broncos. The masterful chess match of the 2 best offensive minds in football is going to be on display with major injuries too, guys. So the 49ers are headed to SoFi to take on the Rams, right? First, we got to go here. Debo, calf strain, he's going to be out. Cup, ankle, he's going to be out. Puka Nacua, 5 to 7 weeks, he's out. I mean, your 3 big stars right there, name are out. This is why Brandon Ayuk is an absolute smash start for the 49ers this week. And I had Ayuk on a sit-him for the first 2 weeks as absolute lock sit-him. He wasn't part of camp. He wasn't with the team. He wasn't practicing. These are things you need to know in fantasy football. And I know you're drafting a big name, but still, you have to look at just all the stuff that's in front of you. And I saw a bunch of people start him and then come to my comments afterward and be like, oh, I should have listened. It's kind of simple in these things sometimes, man. Now, Jawan Jennings, I still don't feel comfortable starting. I could have put him in yellow, but I just can't. I mean, he's Mr. Clutch in the playoff, makes big plays on third down all the time. But I never feel comfortable starting him in fantasy football. I think it's going to be more of a Kittle. I think Jordan Mason's going to run him over in this game for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you saw my running back stardom video, he's my number 2 ranked running back on the week, and he's going to absolutely feast. But I think Brandon Ayuk and Kittle is going to be the targets here for the 49ers. Now, I could have put up 4 names here for the Rams, right, for this wide receiver room. I don't know which one's going to pop. It could be Jordan Whittington, it could be Tutu Atwell, could be Demarcus Robinson, and I don't know which one there is, so I'm just going to put up Demarcus Robinson in yellow as if you're in a desperation of injuries and you need a flex play. But I don't know who's going to hit. I mean, that's the hardest part about it. You can even see Tyler Johnson out there get a couple catches. You know, he was supposed to play the Puka role, and everyone was hyped last week. He did nothing. So it's going to be a crapshoot here, and the 49ers defense is very good. So I really don't like any of these plays here. If I had to pick one, it'd be Demarcus Robinson, and I'm smashing Brandon Ayuk this week. The game I'm going to be glued to is the Detroit Lions going at the Arizona Cardinals this week. Maserati Marv arrived. We'll get to that in a second here. Now, on the Lions side, Amon-Ra picked up a little injury. They've downplayed the injury so far in the updates. I don't have anything official, but I think he's going to be out there. And this man just saw 19 targets, guys. They said, enough of this. We're going to feed our beast. And Amon-Ra, the show is here. Now, Jameson Williams, guys, I got to just throw this out there. Man, I was wrong all the way on this guy. I did not believe the boomer bust hype. This guy is startable weekly as a wide receiver, too. I would have said that a flex play, it was dangerous at the beginning of the season. He has shown up, showed out. Props to Jameson Williams. He looks absolutely electric, and he's a must-start weekly, and this is such a good matchup right here. It's crazy. And Khalif Raymond, I mean, with all these guys out there, you don't even like starting Laporta right now. And I'll get to that in my tight end video probably tomorrow, though, at this rate. Maserati Marv is always green. You're going to start this guy for the rest of the season after what you saw last night. You know, Kyler Murray had that little hiccup of, it's not my job to get him the ball. I don't know if that was just like board play or whatever you want to call it there for that, because he came out and just fed him 30 points in 5 minutes into the game. And I'm going to put Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch in yellow. So yellow for me, possibly, you know, you could throw him in the flex if you need an injury play. You have Kyler Murray in an electric offense. These guys could hit any week, right? So I'm not going to put them on a sit-em. I'm going to put them always probably in yellow all year long because they can strike it any week. And Kyler Murray looks so fast and electric this year. This offense is going to be moving around in this game. I just cannot wait to see this game. The 2-0 Houston Texans are headed into the 2-0 Minnesota Vikings this week. Justin Jefferson got a little stinger last week, but he looks to be okay. We'll get to that here in a second. Now, this game for the Texans here, it looks like Joe Mixon's banged up. We don't have the official update there either. And this is going to be another one of those games that's flukish to me where I'm okay starting all the Texans. So Nico Collins is now always a must start. I had him as a sit last week. I apologize. I thought Jalen Johnson was going to play better at corner and shadow him better. Nico Collins is just a must start wide receiver every week. He is the alpha here. Well, kind of 1A, 1B, kind of, because I think Tank Dell is going to find his groove here. Now, Tank Dell, last week, slow start. Everyone started to panic. Dude, he missed a couple catches, man. He stumbled his feet across the middle wide open. Could have had a 20-yard catch there. Missed another catch down the sideline. It was just one of those rough outings for Tank Dell. He will be fine. If you can buy low, go buy low on him now. Stephon Diggs side, revenge game here, right? This could be one of those, you know, he's okay. So Stephon Diggs is officially the wide receiver 3 for the Texans. You can tell by the targets. You can tell by everything. He's third on the pecking chart. But when you have revenge games, man, there's something to it. And I'm okay with flexing Stephon Diggs this week. I wasn't last week, and it hit very nicely. And the Minnesota Vikings defense played really good against the 49ers last week, too. Heading over to the Jettas side here for the Vikings. This guy is the best in football. Do I really need to say anything here? You're starting Justin Jefferson. Naylor would be interesting, but it looks like from updates we may be getting Jordan Addison back. I don't know officially yet, but the Texans' strength is up front. They are susceptible in the secondary to get beat, and this could be, I'm not going to say start Jordan Addison or bench Jordan Addison. I'm saying he's a flex option if needed. And Justin Jefferson is going to go bananas no matter what. We saved the best for last, and remember, guys, I take a top 10 overall ranked player and put him on a sit-em, and that game is here right now. The New York Giants are headed into the dog pound, and it is going to be rough for Danny Dimes in this game, folks. And this is why I have Malik Neighbors on a sit-em this week. You got 18 targets last week, but who are you playing? The Washington Commanders. If you've watched any of my videos, you start everyone against the Washington Commanders. They are a terrible defense. Now you get the nasty front up front that is going to get after Danny Dimes. He's probably going to throw 2-3 picks in this game. You're probably going to see the Tommy DeVito Boo Bears coming out. It's going to get really, really ugly here. And I just, Malik Neighbors is not a start for me. You got Denzel Ward. You got great safeties over top. They're going to get after him in the middle. And I'm just going to 100. I don't even, it's not even like I'm predicting a crazy call here. I think I know that this is going to be under for Malik Neighbors this week. Heading for the Browns side here. Now or never, man. I'm going to ride it one more time with Amari Cooper. I'm going to say Jerry Jeudy, who's even looked good right now, is going to be a sit for me as well. Because now they're going to force feed this guy. Like, he's getting pissed off. You've seen a couple updates from camp. And he's done nothing. It's time to feed him the ball. But the weather does look bad here. It could be more of a run game. We don't know yet. It's still Wednesday. It's still early. But if you look at your fantasy app, you'll see that it's got a rainstorm and mud and all that. It's early, guys. I mean, I heard the same thing last week, and the game was clear in Jacksonville. So I think this is going to be an Amari Cooper game, but this is like a Terry McLaurin. This is my last ride here with Amari Cooper. 3 weeks, man. If you don't pop by then or at least get 10 points, I'm going to be really, really nervous. And just remember, Malik Nabers, however you say it, is going to get locked up in this game, man. And Danny Dimes is going to throw 2 picks. It's going to be ugly. Thanks for rocking with me today. That is the end of episode 55. That was my wide receiver stardom, sit-em, every single team, guys. Before we head out, man, make sure you smash that like, smash that subscribe, turn that bell on. If you have any fantasy football comments, questions, anything, trades, whatever it is, drop them in the comments. I will try to get to it as fast as I can. I will also be putting my Discord link in the pinned comments if you guys want to hop in and talk football off stream. I'm always in there. We have about 350 members. It's growing rapidly. I can't thank you guys enough. And we answer questions, and there's tons of other, fantasy football experts in there as well that help out as well. And I didn't get to my tight end video, guys, tonight. I am too tired. I'll get it tomorrow morning. So I'll have all my stardom setups out. And if you want to check all my rankings, they are out already as well. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you guys again. Thanks for all the support. It's been amazing. SleezBall out.
You